For our example for this training, I need to request more space because we are adding a new academic program. The first thing I need to do is check the Project Initiation Guidance website. To submit a Project Initiation Form, or PIF, you can visit one of 5 websites: Capital Projects Finance, Architecture, Design and Construction, University Planning, Real Estate, or Facilities Management and Safety. Each department will have a link to the Project Initiation Guidance webpage. At the top of the page, you will find high-level information and training materials for both the PIF and the PAR. We have also included a brief and anonymous survey for feedback on the website, layout, and content. You can click on the carrots to view more information about the initiation and approval of a capital project. You should navigate through the menu items to determine which type of request best meets your project need. If you ultimately decide your request should be submitted on a PIF, you will select the Initiate a Capital Project menu item. There are 5 different types of PIFs, and you should select the most appropriate type that you feel relates to your current project need. Click on the link to open the PIF web form. The first thing I need to note is that everything with a red asterisk denotes a required field. So first we'll start off by putting in my submitter information. Next we'll add my phone number and email. Next we'll select our campus and the planning unit. Once we've selected the planning unit, we'll select the department and the CFAO approver. The CFAO approver is defaulted based on the department and planning unit. Next, we need to give a brief description of the project. Brief description is very high level, 2 to 3 sentences long. If I need to find out more information about what a field is asking, there's a blue question mark next to the description. If you hover your cursor over that blue question mark, you'll see this is telling us, please provide a high-level description of your project request. So for our example, we'll say new academic program, need planning study and estimates on space. As we continue to scroll down, you'll see the next field we need to submit relates to which option closely describes your planning need. So we use the drop down and say that the first thing we need to do is have a planning study done. If I were to choose other from the drop down list, there is a field to describe what other means directly below the drop down. Next, we need to submit what needs or goals are driving your project. So for our example, we'll say starting a new academic program in fall of 2018, need space for class and faculty. The next field we need to select is whether or not work has previously been completed. For our example, I'm going to select none at this time. However, in other examples, if multiple steps have been completed, simply hold down your Control key on your keyboard and select any and all options that relate to what work has already been completed. Next, we need to enter the desired completion date. We can freehand form type that in or use the calendar icon to navigate to a completion date. Next, we need to say why this completion date is significant. So we'll say, need to start planning before spring semester, beginning of spring semester. Next, we need to decide if funding is available or not. We have radio buttons to choose yes, no, or pending estimate. If you know your project's funding source, we can fill out the table below. We do not need to have funding source information in order to fill out the project request. However, please be advised that if your budget is anticipated to be under $100,000 and you enter funding information, this form will serve as authorization for a funding transaction to occur once appropriate approvals are received from the project sponsor and campus leadership. If you feel your funding source may change, it is advised to not include this information. If you do know the project's funding source and are confident with its validity, you will select the appropriate option from the drop-down menu. and then we'll fill out the funding source table. The first dropdown is our PIF funding source. So we'll say what this is from. Say it's departmental funding, estimated funding amount, say $60,000, and then the account number, if we have, should be entered in here. Once you have that information entered, select the Add button in order for that information to populate above. If I need to make any changes, I can select the Delete link if I want to delete this funding source, or I can edit the account number or estimated funding source by clicking the pencil icon to edit that information. If we had multiple funding sources, those can also be entered here as well by following the same steps. Lastly, we'll enter any comments. These comments are available to relay anything that isn't currently covered by the pre-populated questions on the PIF. Each PIF has nuances and customized fields with required information. So make sure that as you're submitting these PIFs, you're reading through everything and making sure that you have all of the required information filled in. Once everything's ready, click the Submit button at the bottom right of the screen, and we'll get our confirmation. The first thing we need to do before we can get our completed confirmation is to prove that we're not a robot. Depending on your browser, you may need to click through some pictures or enter CAPTCHA information. In my browser, all I need to do is select that I'm not a robot and submit, and I can see that my project initiation form has been successfully submitted. There is a link available here if you would like to provide feedback on the PIF process. It is anonymous, so please select the link and give us your feedback in order to help improve this process.